What is up, Bucks fans? We are live here on Real Bucs Talk here on a Victory Monday. Hope everyone is having a great Monday. Obviously, the Buccaneers are 1-0, so that is awesome to talk about. And hope you all had a great weekend. It was football packed as we get the NFL season underway. But want to talk about the Buccaneers victory here over the Atlanta Falcons. Again, a huge win to get to 1-0. Kind of an up and down game, a lot of ebbs and flows, but it was awesome, to see the Buccaneers get a close win like that. That was a game last year that most likely the Buccaneers would have lost, but they found a way to win. I mean, look at the numbers. Again, it wasn't very pretty from a statistical standpoint, but Baker Mayfield made enough plays, especially towards the end of the game. 3 touchdowns. Running the football, again, it was, kind of hit or miss. We did get over 100 yards, which is surprising. 37 yards rushing by Bucky Irving, but Baker Mayfield with some huge runs. And then the rookie, Emeka Egbuka, with 2 touchdowns and played really well. So that was cool to see. Mike Evans, again, doing good things. As Steven Stansfield mentioned, Bucky Irving's first touchdown versus the Falcons. That was a big one. Again, it was his first receiving touchdown as well. And that was a great play. But, yeah, a lot to discuss. We're going to have Mark here join in a little bit. But just going over the game, want to hear your guys' thoughts. I mean, what did you guys think of it? And defensively, again, I think there was a lot of things to be proud of, especially after that first drive. The Buccaneers go down 7-0 in the first quarter to start, off the first drive. They take 3 plays and they already scored. So you're like, oh, here we go again. It's going to be one of those games. But the Bucs defense settled down after that, and I thought they played much better throughout. And really did a good job. And you have to remember that last touchdown that Atlanta got, it took them, 18 plays, I think it was. And a lot of that was penalties on the Bucs that some were, kind of tic-tac as far as the flags go, roughing the passer penalties to extend drives. And then it looked like we had a fumble on that one play where Michael Penix dove for the first down, but he gave himself up. And it was just weird because he fumbled the football. But that was just a weird thing. But overall, I thought there was a lot of good performances on the defense. I thought Zion McCollum played well. Jamel Dean, I know that was one of the hot topics yesterday. We put out a tweet that Jamel Dean had a solid game, and we got pushback on that. But Dean played well, in my opinion. I thought he had a good game. Jacob Parrish was another one. Antoine Winfield with a huge play there towards the end, making up that pass deflection or knockout. Hassan Reddick, again, he got a big sack in the game, and we'll go over that a little bit. But yeah, overall, I thought there was a lot of good performances. And yeah, it was just one of those games where Buccaneers were trying to find rhythm, especially in the first half, but really couldn't do it. And then in the second half, they found better rhythm and did just enough to get the win. And also big shout out to the Buccaneers special teams. I know Chase McLaughlin had the 2 misses, and that's unfortunate. You want to see those go in, and I think he'll be fine there. Most of the time those are going to go in, but we had some good returns on special teams, but namely Cameron Johnson. He set up the Buccaneers' second touchdown. Sean Tucker had some good returns. And then the punter, Riley Dixon, had 4 punts in this game, and he was outstanding. So there's a lot of good things from both sides. You have to give credit to Atlanta as well. They did some good things offensively. Couldn't really run the football, so I thought the Bucs did a great job there in terms of rush defense. Pass defense, again, the big target was Bijan Robinson with that 50-yard play. But other than that, I thought they did a good job. They held Drake London under 60 yards, which is pretty good, and really didn't let anybody else beat them. It was mainly Drake London and Bijan Robinson. And like I talked about in our preview video, those were the two guys to look for. And then defensively, again, I thought, Xavier Watts was really good. He made some pass breakups. So, yeah, I mean, the big storyline, started before this game even began, and that was the Buccaneers changing up their offensive line. They put Graham Barton at left tackle. You move Ben Bredesen to center. They have Michael Jordan playing left guard. So when you think about it there, just having the changes at the offensive line and the Buccaneers able to find ways to get offense going, especially, towards the end of the first half and then into the second half, things started moving a little bit better. And, they found ways, especially towards that end of the game. The Bucs allow that touchdown at the end, and it was just kind of like a backbreaker almost, but the Bucs stayed poised. They had 2 minutes left and a couple, one timeout and 2-minute warning, and they found ways to move the football down the field and score the go-ahead touchdown to Emeka Egbuka, which was awesome. And again, a great play and obviously great throw and catch. So just a lot of things to be excited about, and being 1-0 going into, week 2 against the Texans on Monday night. I think you couldn't ask for a better overall start for the team. And again, as they find ways to win, as they get healthy, especially, you look at the depth chart being down Chris Godwin, Tristan Wirfs, Jalen McMillan. Once we get some of those guys back, this team has all the pieces in place. So yeah, a lot of things to be excited about, but let's get into it. I want to get into some of your comments here. Again, we appreciate everyone joining. If you're joining us on Twitter or X, be sure to hop over on YouTube and hit that like button. So KGH for live, good to see you. Play calling was lacking creativity at times, but what matters is the win. Yeah, I think you have to look at, the play calling in terms of what the offensive line was out there. They tried this new unit, last minute. They talked about working on it, and this is something that they've been putting in the works. But at the same time, I thought, they couldn't maybe be as creative as they wanted to. But I still think they did a good job of making sure they had options in the passing game, and they try to manufacture some runs in different ways. So I think that will continue to get better as we move on. I thought Josh Grizzard made some really good adjustments in the second half, especially on the touchdown plays to Egbuka. Those are plays they kept running posts with Egbuka, and they found ways to get him the football after reviewing it on tape. So yeah, I think that will get better as we move forward here. But again, good stuff there. Appreciate you joining us. Yeah, Egbuka was boom. Yeah, he was definitely really good. Christopher Cole. Yeah, Baker made some really good throws when it mattered. So that was awesome to see. Hassan Reddick first sack as a Buck. Yeah. Kalijah Cansey was out there. He had his ups and downs. He didn't really make a huge impact in this game. I thought he did a good job against the run in this game. Had some pressures, but yeah, Hassan Reddick, again, he was showing really high quality stuff, and you'll see it here on the screen. Hassan Reddick led the team with 7 quarterback pressures. He had a 22.6 pressure rate. 7 pressures were tied for the 5th most in the NFL. So I think, again, he really stood out in this game. I like how they moved him around and used different ways of putting him in positions. They used him in coverage, used him and all sorts of different things, using him as like a stunt guy, which was cool. So, yeah, and keep going, just getting, yeah, could have had more sacks. Definitely missed a couple. So those are things that they're going to have to get better at. And I think they will as they continue to build that chemistry. Dennis was being picked, but he adjusted. Yeah, I think Servasi, again, he had a couple bad plays that he wants to have back for sure. So that was unfortunate. Bucks had chances to close it out early, but couldn't catch interceptions. Yeah, I mean, Zion McCollum gets that contract extension. We talked about that a little bit over the weekend, but yeah, those are things you got to make plays on. You gotta catch the football when they're in your grasp. And again, that's probably why they play cornerback position, because they're not receivers. But yeah, you definitely want to see the Buccaneers come up with some of those turnover plays for sure. But yeah, I appreciate all of you guys in here. And again, if you're checking us out on Twitter or X, be sure to hit us up on YouTube and feel free to leave any questions or comments or subscribe to the channel if new. But we appreciate it, and we're going to continue on. I was also talking about Jamel Dean, and again, I thought he was another player that played very well. Here, a good tweet by Josh Capo. Jamel Dean targeted 10 times, allowed 5 catches, but forcing 4 incompletions. He did have the face mask. Unfortunately, that negated a sack by Yaya Diaby. He did fall down on Winfield's pass breakup, but if people look at that tape, it looks like he was going back towards the flat, passing off the receiver to Winfield. But again, we won't know because we're not, in the play call. But I thought Jamel played well. He had a lot of good plays overall and didn't allow things to get him beat. So I thought overall defensively, there's a lot of good things. I thought tackling for the most part was pretty good, especially in week 1. That was a big issue for the Bucs last year, was tackling the ball carrier or receiver. And in this game, I thought they did a pretty good job of tackling outside of maybe a few plays here and there. But for the most part, they tackled well, which was very good to see. But yeah, you just have to be excited. And we'll go back to the box score. Just looking at this game, again, I thought they did a lot of things well. Trying to see if I can find not sure how many penalties we had, but we had a couple of roughing the passers. There was a couple, procedures on the offense as far as some holdings. But I mean, overall, offensively, I think what stood out was the use of Emeka Egbuka and how efficient he was, especially the space that was created for him, because of you have guys like Mike Evans, who was drawing a lot of attention. I thought Sterling Shepard came up big with his catches. He did a lot of good things there over the middle. They tried to get the ball to Bucky Irving. Unfortunately, just couldn't get any extra yards. They were trying to set up some screen plays to him, but he did make the most of that touchdown catch, which was awesome to see. Rashad White, I thought he might have had a touchdown. Unfortunately, he gets shoestring tackled by Xavier Watts. So that was unfortunate. Other than that, I mean, they had one play to Ryan Miller, who, again, Baker was just a little bit he was off in this game. Again, he couldn't really find the rhythm of the offense in the first half. I thought he played much better once we got towards the late part of the first half, and then definitely in the second half, he started to pick things up and obviously made hell of a throws to Egbuka for both of his touchdowns. So I thought that was good. And he did a good job of not taking, sacks. He did get sacked once on a pressure blitz, But other than that, I thought he did a good job of scrambling, getting outside of the pocket, throwing the ball away when he had no one open. So there was a lot of good things to be proud of, and just shout out to the offensive line, because that's not easy. Graham Barton going to left tackle and then having, Michael Jordan, who's coming off the practice squad, to start at left guard, and then Ben Bredesen as your center. So, yeah, I mean, just big credit to that unit and their ability to, make the most of it. And hopefully that continues to improve. We'll see if that's what they go with against the Texans, who have a much more formidable front with Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. So that's going to be a challenge. We'll see how that plays out. But the Bucs are 1-0, and just a lot of things to be excited about and what to look forward as we continue to move on. The best thing about this game is the Buccaneers didn't play their best. I think it was probably a C+ to maybe B overall game for them, but they found a way to win. And I think that was the biggest thing. They found a way to win this game. And yeah, you could say, the kicker missed his kick, but again, you take those breaks. And you have to think about this too. If Chase McLaughlin, who usually is money, and he makes his kicks, then the Buccaneers are up 27-20 instead of by 3. They're up by 7, and the Falcons have to find a way to score a touchdown there at the end. So really, when you think of it that way, I thought, the Bucs, they found a way and they got it done, and that's what matters. So trying to think of other things on offense that were impressive. I think it was just the resiliency and just determination of continuing to keep going. I think that was key, not giving up. It was unfortunate to start the game with, couple 3-and-outs, but they started to pick things up, getting the ball to Mike Evans, finding ways to get the offense in rhythm. I thought Baker, again, made really clutch throws when he had to, and come up with some big plays. And the main thing is we didn't turn over the ball. So that is huge there. The Falcons ended up turning it over because they went for it on 4th down and didn't get it. So kind of count that as a turnover there. Just offensively, again, yeah, we would like to see the run game be better. And I know a lot of people are talking about the play calling here. Realtor David talking about the play call was boring, predictable. Showed he's not a choker like Cohen, but he needs to do something. Yeah, I mean, I think you just gotta let it play out a little bit. Again, like I was talking about the offensive line, and you have reshuffling there. I think they maybe were playing a little bit safe at times, but you want to be smart in your approach overall. So I think that's important. And they've made a lot of adjustments, and we'll talk about that, once we get into our, film studies of Egbuka and, Baker. We'll have that out later in the week, coming up. But there was key adjustments made, and I'll get Mark in here now as he joins us. We're just talking about the offensive play calling and, the shuffling of the offensive line. I think that plays a big role into it, because you can only do so much, and you have to understand, the timing, the rhythm of the play. And also you had Baker, who was trying to find rhythm. He didn't have it early on, so that adjusts your play calling to a standard. So I think we just got to take it a little easy there, let it play out, and see how this team continues to grow, especially as they get healthier, with Tristan Wirfs coming back in the next, couple weeks or so, and then Chris Godwin after that. But Mark, welcome to the show. It's a Victory Monday. A lot of things to be excited about.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I mean, a lot of things that were answered, yeah, but still, people are getting a little overzealous on some of the bad stuff, I
Mm,
guess. I mean, against week one, a lot of question marks from everyone of every team because you don't know what changes will be made. You can't necessarily judge a book by its cover from the first game.
yeah.
Either way, you won. You saw a lot of good adjustments. To be honest, you saw areas where they could find mismatches, and they did. A very inconsistent Baker, but damn, did he do it when he needed it?
Mm,
Some clutch throws at the very end, 100%. All the touchdowns were spot on. It's like when he needed the most, he's like there. But some of these, you don't have to make it that difficult. Like sometimes there were guys open, you just got to hit them. Running game concerns, 3 out of 5 moved around. Bredesen's been a center, but still, there's a movement there. There's not a continuity there. From
yeah.
center to left tackle, Graham Barton, I know you probably mentioned this plenty. I mean, for your first game at left tackle, that was phenomenal. But still, you could tell there was some areas where it's like he wasn't used to this. So you
Mhm.
get an all-world left tackle back there. You put everyone back where they're supposed to be. The running game should eventually come together, and that's why I said this is probably the worst offense we'll look all year. And again, this is Grizzard going to learn and improve on that to begin with. And it's an NFC South foe, so they knew us the best. They knew what would happen. And hell, I even saw a lot of play action fakes where they didn't bite at all.
Yeah.
Was that necessarily because a lack of running game or they saw something in the play? Who knows? But this is a total different play caller. It's not like it's Liam Cohen calling it and something from last year. So again, your rivals know you the most. So it was a difficult thing, but there's a lot to talk about. But you
Yeah.
can't get mad at the play caller or play calling in general because it was pretty good overall.
Yeah, I agree with that. Again, I want to talk about this real quick because I brought up Hassan Reddick and just want to share bring up his. So just looking at like his sack here as you see on the screen, he's over here, number 5, going up against their right tackle. This is a huge play in the game. I think this is a third down situation.
Yeah.
So we find a way to force them to kick 3 here. And it's just awesome to see as we run it here, his ability to really set up this right tackle. Again, he's going to do a little hesitation move and just step over and fight through. And you can see how much attention he draws. And again, I know they're double teaming Vita, the right guard Lindstrom. He's going to lean over, but Reddick's strength, him to extend his arms there and fight through, keep his legs moving, and then ends up getting the sack on Penix. Again, good coverage. This is also a play where they took out
Yeah.
Servase Dennis. You have Deion Jones, who's going to pick up the running back. And when you look at like the sideline view of this play, like the coverage was just so intact. And I saw that a lot throughout the tape. Um, the coverage was really good. And I know people were like, we put out the tweet of Jamel Dean, but Dean played well. McCollum, I thought, did a good job besides dropping the interceptions. Like, there's a lot of good things to like from a coverage standpoint. And even the linebackers, I thought, covered well. Yeah, Servasier would love to have 2 plays back, but, for the most part, there was a lot of good to have from this game.
We also got stiff armed by Kyle Pitts and give up the first down. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of things for him to learn on. But again, first game back for after a while,
right.
he's playing with his head on fire. But also on that same play, he got the sack. If Penix has it a half second more, Zion McCollum fell. He pulled a Jamel Dean. It was on the ground, and
Yeah.
his guy was open in the corner of the end zone. So if he throws it, if he has a half second longer, that's not a sack. It's probably a touchdown. So
Yeah.
shit talk Jamel Dean all day, every day. That's what other players fall to. All right. So
Yep.
McCollum would have looked like a scapegoat on that one. So, but yeah, the Dean conversation, I thought he played well. Maybe I shouldn't have said great.
Mhm.
Like Darrell Revis shut down Lock Island corner, but he played well enough that on that 8-play goal line stand, he didn't give up the touchdown. He knocked it down twice.
Yep.
And Hughes stood up, plenty of times. He made plenty of tackles where he didn't get beat, and then it was a run after the catch. Like if it was a bang bang play, he was there. So you can't get mad at those. Sometimes the Falcons were literally getting the ball out immediately. It was like not wanting Penix to get pressure, or they would hold guys back big time. So the coverage and pass rush was there. It's just the Falcons either held guys in a lot or got it out extremely fast. Like there wasn't any deep balls. And then Antoine Winfield Jr. knocking the crap out of the guy when Dean's on the ground because Dean was coming back in. I know you said that, but Winfield was doing his job. It's not like he had to do something miraculous that came out of nowhere and had to Superman it around. So
right.
I know a lot of people see what they saw in game and like the sideline tape, whatever, the broadcast film. You don't see the whole grand scheme of things. Or, oh, why is he on the ground? Because he was coming back. Or the underneath.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. James, welcome to the show. Yeah, I think this is the Bucs division to lose. I mean, they have it in control right now. Again, all NFC South teams lost yesterday besides the Buccaneers. And again, it's just great opportunity, a great step in the right direction. So I think that is really good to see. I wanted to go into one wrinkle that I did see in the running game. I know a lot of people were talking about maybe the play calling was boring or predictable, but I want to go into this right here. Let me see if I can get this back on the screen. But just a wrinkle that I noticed was out there. Hold on one second if I can get my share screen to work. But it was just a cool wrinkle of how they were moving guys in space, basically getting outside runs. And we saw a little bit more of that specifically yesterday. But it was this play to Sean Tucker, and I really thought this was going to be a explosive play if he didn't trip over Cade Otton here. But we'll let it run here. Again, you have Cade Otton coming in motion. You got two tight ends here. So Payne Durham is number 87 there in the slot. You got Egbuka here down and Mike Evans up top. So basically 12 personnel, but I like how they run this. They're going to have Cade Otton go in motion. And basically what they're doing is they're going to run a pin play here, basically pin this defensive end that is crashing. Gedeke is going to get out in space and try to get one of these defensive backs or linebackers. And like this play has the opportunity. You see four guys on four, and if he can hit this alleyway, it's a potential to get at least a 10-yard gain, maybe even more. But again, you're right there, and he's just going to trip. He's trying to cut this back. He's just going to trip over Cade Otton. And it's like,
he tripped over his own feet.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, he did. He just tripped over his own feet because he sees the alleyway. Like he sees where he's supposed to go. It looks like he wanted to take this around the corner to the edge, but then cuts it back at the last second. And unfortunately, just trips over everything and, delays the play. So that was just a cool design that I saw, and we'll continue to let it run. Here's the opposite angle. You can really see it come into full picture here, but you can see the alleyway starting up and up. Unfortunately, Gedeke, again, he gets just enough. Like he gets the guy out of the way, but right there, it's like, you have it. And then he just falls. It's like, God damn. But it was just, it was one of those things in the game yesterday. And that was really the Buccaneers offense. There was a lot of good, and then there was just some things that set them back. And you could see that on defense as well. So for the Bucs to be able to get a victory and be 1-0, I mean, that is a huge thing for this team as they're going to continue to get better. And hopefully we see much improved play next week, because really they're going to need probably their best against the Texans, who are going to be desperate for a win and also playing on Monday Night Football. So
you know how we suck in nationally televised
games. Prime time. Yep. We didn't win it. We didn't win any last year. I think we were 0-5 last year in prime time. So
sounds about right.
Yep.
I mean, offensively, it was very much I think I immediately put a tweet out saying like, "Oh, I think Baker needs some preseason reps because he's looking a little rusty." I mean, it's just the accuracy wasn't there, the timing on the throws wasn't there, but then he would make a miraculous throw after an awful throw, and it's like, damn, like that's the consistency we want. It's like just again, game one. You can't get mad at it. You won the game. He, of all people, saying he needs to do better, especially in the first half, because if you're starting, it can't be a half team. We did this last year. We did awful, and then we'd come back and do good in the second half. You can't be doing that. It has to be a full, complete game. But there's no errors because there was at least 3 or 4 balls that were interception worthy. And especially the one before halftime, that could have been a pick six, which was awful. It was like out route to K. Dotton stares at it the whole way.
Yeah.
But I think he was largely a lot of the inconsistency of finding his guys. But I mean, still, like there were times where he would read it correctly. Mike's doubled, go to your next read quick. But then there were opportunities where Mike was open one-on-one. He didn't throw it. So it's like, week 1, let's fix it, right?
Yeah.
Still won. I still wanted to touch defensively how much I don't know if you talked about it before I got on, how much they used Hassan Reddick and how many different ways they used him.
Yeah.
The different one-on-one reps he would get on the outside, him dropping back as a linebacker, him being in space, him stunting around 2 defensive tackles and getting there. Inside, outside, anything. He was just throwing everything at it. And he does look like the real deal. If a quarterback holds it a little bit longer, you're going to start seeing some sacks like right up. I mean, even Yaya was getting in very, like someone said earlier, we don't have a pass rush. I'm like, no, they were getting there.
Yeah.
They just didn't bring him down. Like there was probably 2 other sacks that should have been had, but he just got it out the last second. Or he just got it out way too damn fast. Like they were getting there. It's a difficult to ask if the ball's out in less than 2 seconds to get a sack.
Yeah. I want to make this point here. I thought, again, this is where you could see the improvement in the defense, especially with us being pretty much fully healthy on defense. I mean, we had everybody there, all the pieces. So when, obviously they score on the opening drive, you're like, oh no, it's going to be one of those games. But for the defense to calm down, and you look at, obviously the Bucs offense doesn't start well, 2, 3 and outs, but the Bucs defense plays complementary football, holds the Falcons to no points on back-to-back drives, and then the Buccaneers get a field goal, and then the defense goes out again and gets a stop on 4 plays, basically them turning the ball over, and then we score a touchdown. So the game is 10-7. They end up tying it at 10-10. So I think that was a play where Hassan Reddick got the sack, forcing the field goal. And then that's the end of the half. So it ends up being 10-10. Buccaneers had a good drive to start the second half. Unfortunately, Chase McLaughlin misses the kick. Should have been a penalty. If anybody noticed, he did get run over. Should have been roughing the kicker. Bucs probably would have scored then a touchdown. So it's 10-10 still. And then they get a 3 and out. They kick it. A big, huge return by Cam Johnson, and the Bucs score a touchdown to go up 17-10. That was a huge thing. That was a huge play in the game. So Falcons respond with, making it 17-13. And then after the Bucs drive, they have that 18-play ridiculous thing, aided by penalties, roughing the passers that weren't roughing the passer, et cetera, et cetera. Challenges. There was a lot of things going on.
The canceling out flags that got them another opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is
sense? Just a lot. But the Buccaneers, again, show the fight and determination to respond. And we all seen the Egbuka touchdown. So they get the huge play. And that is something that we'll talk about in the Egbuka film study where the Buccaneers basically ran the same play, I think at least 3 times. Earlier, they ran it earlier in the game, and then they ran it twice on that drive there to score the game-winning touchdown. And just shows you like that those are the type of adjustments that you want as your play caller to understand. We have a play that we feel is going to work, and we have 3 different reads that you can go to each level of the field. Somebody's got to be open, and they found the right matchup and hit Egbuka for the touchdown. And then again, great play by Winfield in that end of the end of the game, making that pass breakup, and then the kicker misses the kick. So again, just overall a good gutsy win there.
I'm going to say this. I think they ran the Egbuka touchdown play earlier on in that same drive that he got the touchdown.
They did, yep.
And they actually did throw it to Mike Evans in the middle. It was an insane throw in between 3 defenders.
Yep.
And then later in the drive, he's like, forget this. If they crash down on Mike, I'm going over the top again. And to be honest, he had men all in his face. Like Graham Barton got pushed back, and like he literally was throwing off back foot. There was no timing on this. This was just like all arm. Like, so that was a hell of a throw by Baker, knowing they was going to be there. And like I said, like his accuracy on that ball was insane.
Yeah.
But then you see like the Mike Evans corner route off there, or Ryan Miller running to the sideline saying, lead me, can't lead him. Or the Sterling Shepard throws where it's damn near interceptions. I'm like, you can make some clutch throws just to clean up some of the little stuff. Because like if we clean it up, we're marching down the field almost every damn drive.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think again, just cleaning up the small little details. Especially within the run game, building the run game to help your passing game, be more effective, more efficient. I think finding more easier completions, especially to start the game. I think that's something that we'll get back to, doing, whether it's the screen game, quick slants, something to get Baker in rhythm early and often. That I think is going to be something we saw that last year under Cohen, where we would just start off with, RPOs or motion screens, doing stuff like that to get things out in space. So hopefully, it'll pick up, especially it's going to, again, be a tough test against a good defense in the Texans. They held the Rams to 14 points yesterday, but the Rams also held their offense to 9. So, I think week 1, again, you have to avoid, taking things too much or looking at it, it's kind of like an overreaction week per se, because it's the first game and there's going to be certain things that hit, certain things that don't. But you have to look at, what could be possible trends, to move forward with. And I think one thing that I do feel confident about is the special teams, especially the punter was awesome. The return game, I think, is definitely an improvement. So those are things to be excited about. Defensively, again, I'll stick with the coverage, and the overall tackling was really good, in my opinion. Jacob Parrish came in and played well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to be excited about, and Winfield being back fully 100%, that's such a huge addition as well.
Dude, the tandem of Winfield and Tyke is going to be nasty. They stay healthy together. Tyke in the running game was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I mean, even
Yeah.
him and McCollum,
led the team in tackles. So
like he would crash down quick or absorb. Like there was one, I think I sent it to you earlier. Logan Hall just washed off the run.
Yeah.
And who fills it in? A safety coming from up top comes all the way down and fills the hole. And I think he stopped him at the line. So his awareness is phenomenal. And like, I know he's used to playing close to the line, but he did well in coverage too. Yes, he had maybe one where he let a guy go, but I think it was Kyle Pitts. He was the one that knocked the Kyle Pitts pass that should have been an incompletion, and they gave it a damn completion. That was the beginning of the damn drive too. That
Yeah.
long, it made no damn sense. They just didn't want the Bucs to win at all. But yeah, ball don't lie, as they say. But I mean, overall, like Tyke had an amazing game. Zion, if he catches the ball, would have had an amazing game. Dean should have had an interception.
Yeah.
I mean, defensively, the core is there. Servassier, if he just plays like he did in the fourth quarter, you got yourself a damn defense. So, I mean, there are very much a lot of highlights you can go with. I mean, allowing only 20 points isn't awful, especially if your offense can get you at least 28 a game, which they did last year.
Yeah.
Let's see, right?
Yeah, no, all those are good points. Again, none of it just to not be like at your very best, which we clearly were not yesterday. Again, there was ups and downs. There was ebbs and flows when you look at it. Third down defense, you would like to see a little bit better there, especially when we were in 3rd and 6+. You would like to see the team get off the field a little bit more consistent. But to only allow 20 points, I think that is a good thing to put your hat on. And then offensively, yeah, we would like to see the execution be a little bit more crisp. But like we said, with the offensive line changing and, run game couldn't really get to, some of our creative things that we like to do, that could, that could be something that they improve on and work at and hopefully get better as we move forward here. But I think there's still a lot of things to be, proud of.
I like Emeka's run too.
Mecca's running game. I thought that was a good play call. Utilizing 21 personnel. I would like to see Rashad White be utilized a little bit more. I know they let Bucky, take majority of the snaps because again, he is RB1. He did do some good things in pass protection, which I saw with Bucky Irving. He did make some blocks, which was good. But yeah, we'll just see. We'll have to see how it plays out. But I mean, some of the negatives, not really negatives. I guess they're more of things we already know, and that is Logan Hall is still Logan Hall. I thought, we didn't really see much of Chris Braswell or Anthony Nelson, which I thought was good. Again, Anthony Nelson, I thought played very well. Again, just steady Eddie, good against the run, knows how to set the edge. Greg Gaines, I know he had the rough in the passer, but I don't really think that was. He did some okay things. Again, not going to offer much pass rush from that standpoint. I'm trying to think of Elijah Roberts. He played 9 snaps. I thought all of them were pretty good. So, that is, something to be proud of. Other than that, again, there was just, I can't say enough about the offensive line. Luke Gedeke, I think, allowed the most pressures. He had 4 on the game. So you like to see that, get cleaned up a little bit. But I mean, Graham Barton playing left tackle, never played a snap in the NFL at left tackle, just goes in there and did pretty well. And then Bredesen, being the center, not having a fumble snap or any bad snaps. I thought there was a lot of good things there.
I mean, offensively, just Michael Jordan's not the most gifted athlete. So I saw some of their screenplays that just didn't get created. They were trying to get him moving out in space. He just doesn't move as well as Graham Barton or Cody Mock or even Bredesen for that matter. So like there was a screen pass to Bucky where it was immediately halted because it was just like there's a guy in his face. He couldn't get over to the block or just be in the way at all. So I mean, again, that's why I'm saying if when Wirfs comes back and the offensive line can be a good unit where everyone knows each other, continuity is there, I think that will improve. Besides that, either way, just to start him in a pinch like that, he did well, especially in the pass game. Pass pro was good all around. Like, yes, early on they sent some diverse blitzes.
Yeah.
And Baker just had to get it out, peel and run, and he did that very well. Like that, you can't say that's a knock on him. Like that, he did a damn good job of getting out of there when he had to get out, and he threw the ball away, guys. He threw the ball away.
He
That's
did.
a positive. That's a big positive in my book. I don't care about the completion percentage if you're throwing the ball away for good reason, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to shout out James Thomas here. Brings up a good point. Be sure to hit that like button or light button. So much appreciated to all you guys in here. Help support the channel. Subscribe if you're new, and welcome to the show again. Victory Monday. The Buccaneers are 1-0, and it's awesome times that Buccaneers, for whatever reason, they know how to start fast under Todd Bowles. They usually start the season 2-0. I think they've been 2-0 ever since he's been the head coach, since 2022, I believe. So hopefully that trend continues and we just avoid that middle of the season where we hit our rough patch. So, but a lot of good comments in here. Tall Florida guy, I think he did predict that Graham Barton would be playing left tackle. So kudos to you. That was a good call out. Kalijah Cansey again didn't have the best game yesterday, but I thought he did good things against the run. You would like to see him get a little bit more pressure. He had some pressures here and there, but you just want to see a little bit more consistent from him. But I think the rush should improve as we get moving forward, especially as they learn how they play with Hassan Reddick and how Yaya Diaby and all those guys. You could see like how they're trying to use those guys in different ways with the stunts and the loops and, just different, rush packages and trying to avoid, just collapsing to the middle. You want guys to stay in the rush lanes and be a little bit more disciplined there.
I mean, yeah, I fully agree with him though about the Cansey was a big disappointment, especially with him saying, "Oh, I'm going to lead the league in sacks." Yes, he came up a little short per se on that one, but like you mentioned, him in the running game, being a shorter stature, lighter guy, he did some really good things. Like he was doubled, got off of a double and stopped the run that I saw. And then overall as a team, they were phenomenal against the run. Bijan had 12 carries for 24 yards, 2 yards per carry.
Yep.
He's not going to have that the rest of the season. I guarantee fantasy owners that probably took him first overall were like, what the hell am I getting? Yeah, but then he gets his receiving yards. Like running the ball primarily, they shut him down hard. Like the entirety of their running game was shut down hard. So kudos to them. That's what Bowles likes to do and get them in pass set situations. It was just, there's little things. And I know you were getting pissed off during the game, but they would get to situations where it's third and long or third and down and distance, and it would be just the one guy that's not in the right place. Yeah. It'd be like someone's supposed to step up and get the guy underneath. They didn't do it. Right. But, and in the Buccaneer fan base perspective, if a guy does it, they're in the wrong and they shouldn't have done it. But like that would be what would happen. And it was frustrating, especially on the final drive where you're like, damn it, you're just giving it up. We're going to go to overtime now. But no, luckily that kick went wide right. But overall, like defensively, if your run D is there, and I like how he said it too. He's like, we're going to be stopping the run on the way to the quarterback. That's a cool.
Yeah. That's
how you want it to be. I don't know why that wasn't ingrained in the brains at an earlier time, but Charlie Strong, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just taking a look at the let me get this back up on here. How do I remove this? There we go. Looking at the team stats. So Buccaneers again were actually pretty efficient on third down. They were 50%. The Falcons were 6 of 15, so I believe that's a little less. What is that? Over maybe 40%, but the big difference here, they went for it on fourth down 4 times. They were 3 of 4 there. They had more plays, 71 to 56. Obviously, that 18-play drive was a big catalyst in that. And then you look at the penalties. The Buccaneers only had 5, and 2 of them probably should have been a flag. And they missed a couple more on the Falcons here. missed some holding calls. They missed some false starts as well. There was a couple of times. Yeah. There was a couple of times where the right tackle for the Falcons false started, and it was not called.
Or what about roughing the passer that?
Yeah.
You know, Graham Barton picked him up. He's like, "Where the hell's the flag?" He throws the ball away, and then you run over the back of his head. It's like, what?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So the refs didn't have the best game either. And I think that was the Buccaneers' first win in a while when they didn't win the time of possession. I mean, 35 to 24 minutes. And I think there's another key stat in there. But either way, this was a huge win for this team to get it done and to move to 1-0.
I mean, look at all the numbers. Like it looks like we were the losing team.
Yeah.
Lack of possession. I can't believe they had more penalties than us. The yards, and we had better yards per rush. That was the only one we're really dominating. Other than that, it's like the big one for me: no turnovers. Let's keep that trend in the right direction. But yeah, clean some little things up. Do they run with the same makeshift offensive line? Likely. Because, I mean, that was my biggest thing when we left the show last week.
Yeah.
I was like, because of Heck, I don't think our offense is going to be scoring in bunches. So I gave a little bit less. I think I said 28.
Yeah.
14 or 28, something like that. But like,
yeah, you would have been right if, the kicker makes the kicks, which usually he does. We would have had 27. But, yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I think I said it earlier in the offseason. I was like, the defense, I think it was like when we figured out that, Godwin and Wirfs are not going to be ready for the start of the season. I was like, well, your defense is just going to have to pick you up and they're going to have to play well. And I think we saw that yesterday. They found ways to do enough to get this team to win. And, if this was like last year's defense where we had, the secondary that we had to deal with, we probably lose that game for sure. But you had your full complementary of pieces, and you're getting more of those pieces this week with Benjamin Morrison coming back, who's going to play against the Texans, which I think is a big move there. And then Christian Izien is probably going to be back as well. And I think Izien is underrated in just the way they can utilize him, being that kind of underneath defender, almost like a linebacker. Again, he's a little bit smaller, so tackling can sometimes be an issue for him. But he's also very fast and athletic, and his ability to get to point A to point B is pretty good.
I mean, if they get both of them back, the rotations are going to be phenomenal. I mean, you could save Dean's legs and hips even more, right? Same with Joshua Parrish. Like, you can rotate him in and out.
Yeah.
And David Sussman, he was very concerned with Tyke Smith, a strong safety. If you weren't in earlier, Tyke had a really good game, a really damn good game. I mean, maybe one pass play that he gave up, but he was there to make the tackle.
Yeah.
Him in the running game was phenomenal. Like, literally downhill, he's great. He's not necessarily a Jordan Whitehead hit thumper, but he's hitting those holes and those gaps, like almost feeling like a linebacker. So I am not concerned at all based off the one game. But again, that's not telling of the whole story, right? Like, you may have one good game, but then is that it? Like, are we going to judge Servasi off this just one game?
Yeah.
Let's see. Because last year he looked great in 2 games, then he got hurt. We're all clamoring, oh, this is going to be the fix. Okay, well, he had one bad game, but overall his run defense of Servasi was good. He just needs to stay on the damn running back. Stop trying to do too many damn things, right? And he did better in that fourth quarter. Let's see more fourth quarter instead of the first half.
Yep, for sure. As we get closer to the end of the show, I want to bring up Houston's depth chart real quick, and we'll just kind of talk about them a little bit. We're going to have some videos probably later in the week talking about Houston and what they present. I'll probably do something similar like I did with the Falcons this last week, where I kind of highlight key players to watch. I'll try to do probably both sides of the ball this time. I think I did our offense versus the Falcons defense and kind of mentioned some guys, but we'll get into that. And be sure to check out our Substack. We're going to have a lot of content over there. We'll leave those links in the description below, and we'll put out videos here on YouTube as well. But let me bring up, yeah, there's their depth chart here. So CJ Stroud, again, very talented quarterback. We know about him from his rookie year against the Buccaneers. I think he had that crazy game where he went off against our defense and ended up winning in the final moments. But you look at their team, again, much different teams since that 2023 year. Different group of receivers. Nico Collins is their main guy. Christian Kirk is out with an injury, so he won't play. You have Jaden Higgins. Then you have Hutchinson, who's probably going to be that next guy up. Jalen Noel. So tight end Dalton Schultz. He's very underrated. So that's one guy to look out for. And then the offensive line, again, another offensive line where Buccaneers could have some matchups, especially in the interior. I would expect Kalijah Cansey and Vita Vea to bounce back and have stronger games, more pass rush for both of them. Hopefully we see more from, Hassan Reddick and Yaya Diaby. But yeah, I mean, offensively, again, it starts with getting pressure on Stroud and shutting down the run game, which is led by Nick Chubb. Again, bigger back, got to make sure tackling is going to be paramount and key in this game.
I'm blown away by their offensive line. I still can't believe they traded their left tackle.
Yeah, Laramie Tunsil.
I cannot believe that. And then looking at what they have here with injuries included.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, we're going to have to get after it. I mean, they didn't even score a touchdown last game, but still, that doesn't tell the whole story, right? And like you said, they're going to be desperate to get a win. You don't want to start 0-2. But weapons-wise, same concept. Like Nico Collins is a much better athlete, I think, than Drake London, but still a bigger guy.
Yep.
Nick Chubb, they're going to want to get the running game going, but I don't think they have as good of an offensive line as the Falcons did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the rookies and Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel.
Yeah.
I mean, there is, I guess, quirky guys or speed guys, size guys, but still it's the defense as a whole, I think, played extremely well. If they can get better pass rush, and if you can just catch the interceptions that fall into your hands, you're talking big money movers and big changes in possession, right? So it's more that time of possession gets changed big time if you catch them. So, and that goes to McCollum and Dean. They both had balls fall right in their hands. They drop them. So, let's see how it moves forward. But overall, like, our defense matches up well against us.
Yep, for sure. I think, again, it'll just be interesting, can we pressure Stroud? Can we force them into, third and long situations, shut down their run game and just kind of watch out for, the quick passes, and don't get beat by, the deep ball. So those will be key. But the main thing that they do have is their defense. Their defense is top notch, very athletic, a secondary that is very good. Derek Stingley, Bullock, and CJ Gardner-Johnson we've seen before. Kamari Lassiter, again, a very good corner. And then your guy, Jalen Petrie, again, very, very stout up front and throughout their defense. They have linebackers. Donnell Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. are going to present a lot of challenges for whoever our tackles are going to be. Obviously Gedeke on one side, and then I'm assuming it's going to be Graham Barton at left tackle. I doubt they go to Charlie Heck, now. So I guess it's going to be Graham Barton. And I mean, you're definitely going to, I think we're going to see more use of 12 personnel in this game. But I mean, they played 11 personnel against the Falcons quite often. They kind of went away from the 12 personnel early. So it'll be interesting to see if they do some different things with their personnel packages, and hopefully we can get that ground game going. I kind of want to see, let me check out real quick before we go. Let me go to schedule. I want to see how the Rams did as far as running the football. Let me see if I can click on this. and see if they had any success. So Matthew Stafford, 245 yards passing. He did get sacked 3 times, so that just shows you. So Kyron Williams did okay. He had 66 yards on the ground, 72 overall. Again, not great, but I would expect the Bucs try to get the run game going and try to keep it balanced in that way.
Because you can't have those
But
two.
you look at Nakua, he had 10 catches for 130 yards. I don't know. Maybe we see, Egbuka go off like that, but I would like to hopefully get the ground game going.
I mean, they find ways to scheme their one guy open. That's
Yeah,
what they
they do.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like that's their bread and butter. They're going to put them in situations like that where they key in on their one guy. The Bucs are more balanced. They have a lot more tools to use. I don't know why they didn't use Devontae Adams more, but they still won the damn game. That's all that matters. So they're just finding mismatches they wanted to hit. But overall, like if Egbuka goes off, great, right? But it's all telling how the defense faces up against your offense, right? So everyone's always doubling Mike. It's just finding the opportunities where Mike isn't doubled because Puka Nacua always comes inside. They use him now in the same role Cooper Kupp had.
Yeah.
It's just finding ways to continuously find the guys that aren't doubled and get the mismatch. And the Bucs, they did that in a capacity the last game yesterday. So it's just being consistent with your reads and hitting them when they're there. And there were a lot there.
Yeah.
There were a lot there. It's if you clean things up, the score could have been driven up a lot higher. So let's see. Again, but talking about the Texans defense, yeah, you want to get a running game going, like I said, because you don't want Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter pinning their ears back. You just don't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why he got sacked 3 times, probably because of that. But I mean, let's see. You definitely got to do better than 40 yards that they did last week. I think Baker was the lead rusher for the Bucs yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's going to be key, and just making sure you're protecting the football, getting the ball out quickly, using your screen game, draws, do different things in the running game to kind of alleviate the pressure. And just looking real quickly at what the Texans offense did, again, they didn't have much going as far as receiving standpoint. Stroud definitely spread the football around. He had multiple guys with 2 to 3 catches. So hopefully we can get some pressure in on them. I think the Rams defense, they had their share of sacks as well. They had 3 on the game. So should hopefully generate more pressure, but it's going to be interesting. Anyway, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Thank you all for joining us here. Again, appreciate all the support. Be sure to hit that like button. Comment down below your thoughts of the Buccaneers win. We'd love to hear your reaction to it, and what do you think is going to happen throughout the season. Let us know. And with that said, I think we're going to close it out. Go Bucs. If I can get this to work. Let's see. There we go. Hit that like button and comment down below your thoughts. And with that said, we'll see you on the next one. Stay tuned for all our content coming out throughout the week. We're going to have more film studies of this week's game. And then obviously we'll have some preview videos coming out later in the week. And with that said, go Bucs. See you on the next time.
Let the big dog eat.